Hi, welcome back to my channel. I apologize, it's been a while since the last time I posted. I am so sorry. A lot has been going on for me in my personal life. My goal is to try to do a video once a week, so I will do my best to stick to that. I am so sorry. But in the meantime, please enjoy this video. It's a DIY on how to make slippers. I've been wearing mine religiously since I made mine. They look like this. They're super pink and cute. They're really comfy. I'm really glad I chose the fabric I did, but next time I would like to make some more fun ones to wear, other than just comfortability cute. I want to do just over the top cute next time, but these are really fun to make. I really hope you enjoy the video. So first, I would like to mention for my DIY edition for my YouTube videos, I am going to do a difficulty level for my DIYs from here on out. So this DIY, I am marking difficulty level as medium/intermediate, because if you've never done any hand sewing or worked with fabric before, this might be a little difficult. But don't let this discourage you. I really hope you get a chance to make these. They're really fun. It teaches you a lot about different types of materials, and kind of makes you put things in perspective what you're spending money on, where you can just make it yourself. I hope you give this a try and continue watching. So let's get started. For materials, the first thing you'll need is some shoe inserts. I got 3 packs of these from my local dollar store, so my slippers will be super cushy. Next, you'll need some soft material. I went with this pink fuzzy material. It has moons and stars in it from the baby aisle at Joann's. Next, you will need some paper to make your patterns. You'll need some fabric scissors, some paper scissors, some pinning needles, some thread, and a matching bobbin. I decided to go with white because I didn't have any pink laying around, but white is fine, you're not going to see it. You'll also need a hand sewing needle. I also have these really sharp pointy scissors to trim up my threads for hand sewing later. And I also have these really cute iridescent beads for decoration, and these crescent moon rhinestones that I also am going to put for decoration on my slippers. You will also need a pen for your pattern making later, and a sewing machine for the main sewing part. So let's get started. Let's open up all the little shoe cushions. I'm going to lay them all out, and we're going to get started on our pattern for the fabric. So I'm just placing my foot here to see just how much is it to trim off or cut down, but I decided to sculpt the top of my little foam shoe inserts because I didn't like how pointy they were, so this is me just trimming them up. And go ahead and do that to all of them. Next, using our paper and a pen, we're going to make a pattern for the fabric part of the shoe slipper. Once you have traced the slipper base, you're going to make another additional copy on the outside, like an echo of the original pattern, because we need it for seam allowance. That's about a ½ inch all the way around. You could use a ruler or not. I decided to eyeball it. Don't forget to label all your patterns to make alterations or to make more later. So I'm cutting them out with paper scissors now. Now let's get started on the foam bases. So 3 for the left and 3 for the right side of the shoe. We're going to hand sew them together so it's easy for them to slip into the little casing we're going to make out of the fuzzy fabric. I'm going to hand sew them together. I'm going to do 2 first and do a whip stitch, just a basic whip stitch around just to keep them together, and then add the 3rd one after I've hand sewed this all the way around. Take time hand sewing this with your whip stitch, and don't pull too hard because your thread will pull through the foam and initially ruin your stitching as you're going along. Once you have met your beginning stitch, you're going to knot it off by going back to your original stitching to create the knot. As you're pulling your needle all the way through, pull your needle through the loop and create the knot. So now we're going to add the 3rd one. We're going to do another whip stitch all the way around, and this one's going to be a little more dainty to deal with because there's 3 of them. My needle is fairly short. If you can find a larger needle, hand sewing needle to work with for this project, that would be ideal. But I had to slowly push the needle all the way through where it barely stuck out for me to feed it through. A question you might be asking yourself is, why aren't we pinching down the foam base and sewing it while it's pressed all the way down? The reason why is when we press it down, think of it as your foot pushing down the threading. But if you had already pressed it down while sewing it, it's going to pull and the stitching won't stay in place. So we did it to both sides now, and we have the original pattern for the base kind of slip cover, but we're going to create the little slipper footy cover that goes over the top part of your foot. So I laid my foot down and figured out where I would like my little slip to begin and end, and copied my original pattern. One thing I forgot to do right here in the video was to create the seam allowance. Don't forget to add it a 1/2 inch all the way around and then cut it out. There should be 2 echoed lines here, and I did not do that, so I ended up having to make new footy cover slipper slips for the top of your foot all over again. That was kind of a pain. But I also decided to do little bows for the top of my slippers, like the bottom right corner. The little triangle pattern you saw me make was 2 inches tall by 3 inches wide. Now we're going to get started on taking our paper patterns and laying them on the fabric. Make sure you cut 2 rights and 2 lefts. So this pattern right now is made technically for a right foot. To make the left foot, you just flip the pattern upside down and make the left foot. And once again, for our little bow decoration, you only need to cut out 2 of these 2 by 3 rectangles out of the fabric to make the 2 bows for the front of your slipper. So once we have cut everything out, lay it out, and we're going to get started on the long process of pinning. We're going to do, or at least I'm going to do, all the pinning at once, so it's less work for me. How you do the pinning is make sure the right sides are facing together. This is going to be easy because one side's fuzzy and the other one's not. So make sure the 2 fuzzy sides are facing each other and the wrong sides are on the outsides. I'm going to pin all the way around, and I'm going to leave a gap open enough to fit my little slipper foam bases in. So I'm going to pin it all the way around. This is called a directional pinning. I'm sure there's other names for it, but I pin it like this so it's easy to put it in my machine and go right over the needles. Now I'm going to get started on the little footy cover slip. I don't know if there's a proper name for this, but make sure there's an opening on that too, just on the straight edge right there, and do both right foot and left foot. Now we're going to do a straight stitch all the way around using your sewing machine. Use a straight stitch. Mine is an 8 for the straight stitch, and when you are putting your foot down, make sure the edge of your fabric is either on the 1/2 mark or the 3/8 mark. I'm gonna go with 3/8 just in case any oopsies daisies or the fuzzies get in the way. When sewing this, make sure your 3/8 or 1/2 mark edge is following the raw edge of the fabric all the way down. So a nice way to make your work reinforced and nice and finished if you don't have a serger is to use a zigzag stitch. Just use the widest setting and copy that all the way down, and this helps out your work look really nice, and it's reinforced, so less for you to worry about later if there's a seam pop or whatnot. It's just reinforced. So now we're going to take our foam base and put it inside of our slip, and there's an opening now, so now we need to sew that closed. Using a whip stitch, you're going to close the opening that you had put your little foam base in. Just take your time. I did decide to go with white thread once again. It's also easier for you to see, but it's also because I ran out of pink thread. Who knew that would ever happen, because I love pink. But hey, it worked out. So now we're going to turn in the raw edge for your slipper cover thing for your feet. And I'm pinning that down and sewing in the machine just a straight stitch to close up the opening. You could hand sew this, but it's just easy to do with the machine. So to create the kind of cool look I wanted to do, I kind of rolled it over and sewed it again so it kind of looked like it was a, folded over, kind of like a cuff kind of look. I like the way it looks, so I went with that. Now I'm going to line up the slipper cover with the slipper, and how you do this is, since it is foam, it worked out. I just used my little pearl needles to keep it in place while I'm hand sewing it. Make sure that your slipper cover edge is not directly on the seam of the 1/2 point of the cover, just on the edge there, and then hand sew it down. You can't stick it in the machine now because it's too thick, but hand sewing it's just fine. So do it to both sides all the way around, and it looks really cute. Now for our rectangles for our cute bow decoration, you're going to fold them in half like a taco. The long side is where you're going to fold down and then pin it, and I'm just going to pop it in the machine and do another straight stitch. You could hand sew this, but it just was easy enough to just do this in the machine. Now you're going to turn it inside out like a pillowcase, and the two raw edges you're going to fold them in, and we're going to hand sew them down. You could stick them in the machine, but it's a little thick like this, so I thought it'd be safer to just hand sew it because the machine just might boot it out because it's so thick, so I'm just going to hand sew it instead. And the same as before, I'm just going to whip stitch the closing together with my hand sewing powers and do that to both sides of each bow. Once you have completed that, we're going to create the little bow scrunch in the middle. You could use a ribbon to keep this together and hot glue it, but in case I needed to wash this later, I didn't want the hot glue to be a problem, so I'm going to hand sew the little scrunch. I just pulled the needle through a little bit and wrapped it around super snug and tied it off in the back. Once you completed both bows, I'm going to add my cute little iridescent beads to my bows. I decided to go with 3 on each side. This is all optional. You could just stop at the slipper part, but I really wanted my slippers to be cute, and I love Sailor Moon if it wasn't obvious from all my other videos and things I talk about, or if you know me. Yeah, so I wanted it to be super cute, so I'm just going to hand sew each bead down. I'm just feeding the needle through until a knot hits the back, and then feeding the needle through the bead a few times, and then once it's reinforced, I wrap it around the base of the bead so it kind of sticks out like a button if any of you are familiar with hand sewing buttons, and then knotting it off. So I did this for each individual bead, but I'm really happy with the result. Once you've completed both sides of your bow, this is the opportunity to add more cute things. I am adding my crescent moon rhinestones. You could either use E6000 glue or hot glue for this, and I know I said the hot glue before, but I'm using just a little bit of it just to keep it in place. And it's not like I'm going to go make a jog run in these adorable slippers. They're just for home for me to look down and be happy when I see my happy little cute feet. And once you tack those down, you're going to hand sew them. You could hot glue them, but I'm going to hand sew mine. Again, if there needs to be repair to my cute little bows, or they get knocked off by my cat, I won't cry because there's this ugly hot glue mess on my shoe. It's just better this way. So I am tacking down the bottom part of the bow, and then using the thread and wrapping it around and tacking part the top of the bow, just in the middle, so the little sides of the bow has freedom to do whatever they want, but just to keep them in place. And they're done! They're so cute. I'm very happy with the way they turned out. I wear them all the time. I'm doing dishes or hanging out. I love them. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you get to make some cute DIY slippers of your own that are super snuggly and comfy. I love mine. Like I said before, I've been wearing mine every day. When I'm at home, my feet are so happy now. And I hope to continue doing more videos ASAP. In honor of Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday, I am doing a 15% off my entire store. You just type in the words fall in all caps 15 at the checkout window. I've been making a lot of new items, more particularly towards holiday, but I am releasing some other fun goodies. All this week I'll be putting more stuff up there, so if you get a chance, please check me out. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, and have a magical day. Bye!